You've talked about how a team has to learn how to win.
Mm-hmm.
When a team starts to win, a team that hasn't had a lot of success, what is the key and the challenge of handling that success?
Oh, a great question. There's a quote out there, and I believe it's by Mark Batterson. He says, the leading indicator of success is well-managed failure, and a leading indicator of failure is mismanaged success. So, getting these guys to understand that you got to recommit to the process every single week. Each game is a season in itself. And what you did last week is not going to carry over. And we had a great reminder this morning. I got a hold of a video of Mike Tomlin addressing the Steelers during one of their team meetings, and he talked about reasonable expectations. And the way that I challenged the team was it's reasonable for us to expect to win, but then there's got to be realistic work. Right, the reasonable expectation doesn't produce the result. It's the realistic work. So, celebrating the win for the night, and then you got Sunday to kind of flush it. And when we show back up on Monday, it's all about what's next. So just constantly creating a singular focus, and we try to do that with the themes of the day. So today was Takeover Tuesday, and that's all we're focusing on is what we need to do today to get better, so that we can play well in essence in the middle eight of the game, because today is the second practice of the week. So this is kind of the second quarter. So we try to just compartmentalize everything, create a singular focus, and understand that the reason they were successful is because they put in the work, but they got to start right back over week after week to be able to put in the realistic work to have that reasonable expectation of winning.
Mike and Jerry.
You obviously got a lot more pressure and sacks from other than the D-line, from the linebacker, the safety position. Was part of that a product of coming downhill against the mesh, or was that a concerted effort to get more people involved in blitzing and pass rush?
Both. Wake is very, very good at what they do offensively, and they're very well coached up front. And you have to try to create single blocks, and without added pressure from the second level, you can't create those single blocks. And in order to disrupt their timing, you got to create single blocks and penetration. And so a lot of that was in rundown situations too, where we're just trying to create single blocks and see could we disrupt their timing. And the ends were close. Chico had his hands on them a couple times. They had a couple opportunities to get him on the ground, and they missed it. But it was a little bit of both. Helping the pass rush when we can, because getting pressure with four is very difficult, right? There's not many teams that can just get a ton of pressure with four. So you're going to need a little bit of assistance. But it was a combination of both. But I was pleased with the effort that those guys played with. I'm seeing the improvements from the drill work that we're doing in practice with those guys. You're starting to see them work a little bit better on their counter moves to be able to continue to rush the quarterback. And that group that you play against, that we just played against at Wake Forest, man, they make it tough. But I was pleased with just the effort. And some of those were effort sacks, like the one on Jonas. Man, Jonas he was blocked and he spun off. James was an add-on, and like he's adding on late, going over. Trey McDonald goes over the top of somebody. So just pleased with the effort, and hopefully that'll just continue to spur, a desire to keep getting to the quarterback in the future.
Malachi's off to a monstrous start.
Yep.
You've talked about him trying to teach him to use his size advantage. How are defenses reacting to him? It seems like at times they're happy to take a pass interference instead of not being able to cover him.
Yeah, and so he's such a big body. He corrected me the other day. I said he was 6'3". He's like, nah, coach, I'm 6'4". So I'm gonna give him 6'4". He's 6'4", 220 pounds, and hard to tackle. And what you're seeing is that he's getting a lot of yards after contact because getting the ball in his hands, and he's making people miss. Something that we didn't see a ton of last year, but we knew he was capable of. And then whenever they give us soft coverage, we're going to try and take that gift. And then when we give a chance to go down the field, and it's going to be interesting to see because you got Malachi, but then you also got Trail on the other side. Right now that's balancing it out because you got to honor and respect the speed and his ability to make plays. And he had an opportunity. He was behind him. And I know if he had that back, he'd make that catch the next time. But that puts pressure to you got to make decisions, and then hopefully with the success and the improvements in the production at the tight end position, right, you'll be able to get more single coverage. So that's really what we've wanted to be able to do offensively, is really stretch you from sideline to sideline, goal line to goal line, to make you. And I'm hopeful that what that's also going to do is create some lighter boxes for us to be able to run the football, because we didn't run the football effectively as we did in the first game, and challenge the guys this week to come out and run the ball. But Malachi is just playing his size, and Dez and AC are doing a great job of just taking what they're giving us. There was times where we were playing with tempo and they couldn't get lined up, so not as much Mal as it was just the system, playing fast and catching them off balance, and then he's doing a much better job after the catch, just running with a passion and a violence that we've been challenging him to do for his size.
Greg and Jackie.
Last year, the Maryland fourth quarter spiraled for Calandria.
Yeah.
This past weekend, he threw a third quarter interception, then 2 scoring drives to rally you guys. What have you seen growth, maturity-wise, that's enabling him to have a performance like that where he can bounce back?
What I saw the other night is just he had a very consistent demeanor throughout the game, even when he had and in the first interception, he was doing the right thing. He was trying to get the ball checked down to the back, and their guy made a play, right? Actually, the 2 of their guys made 2 really good plays, a batted ball and then a pick by a D lineman. But then to see him respond and go make the tackle, right, that was huge because he gave the defense a chance, at the 9-yard line. Now, we didn't play complimentary football right there and try to hold him to a field goal. But you're seeing a more consistent demeanor, and he's quickly, learning to flush the bad plays, right, and stay locked in. So, hopeful that as we continue to grow, he'll be able, because he's going to have more moments like that. And I think last year was a great learning, experience for him, because that game was, I think, a 1-score game, and we're in the 11-yard line, and then it turned into, us kind of imploding. So just really seeing him, keeping a consistent demeanor from play to play, from series to series. And what was awesome is as a coach, you're always trying to find ways to make sure guys are motivated. And there in the fourth quarter, I was going to both the defense and the offense, and it was Malachi. And that was like, Coach, hey, we're not even thinking like that. When I was like, hey, we're going to go win this game, and you guys are going to go make plays. It's like, Coach, we know that. And so they're starting to believe. But AC just has a natural – he's a competitor, right? Like, he's a competitor. And so the growth that you've seen is that he's able to do a better job of now kind of controlling that and channeling it in the right direction at the right times.
You've mentioned Jack Whitmer a lot and his performances. Can you think back 18 months ago when you approached him and say, hey, are you open to moving from tight end to offensive line, and kind of his journey and how he accepted that?
Yeah, first he was probably, 250 pounds, right? So now he's almost 300. So he was a lot skinnier then and hadn't played any offensive line. And, we were challenging him, to use his size as a tight end, right, to his advantage. So he was learning how to be a more physical player. And then you move to a position where it's, it's basically hand-to-hand combat every single play. But he embraced it. He went to work. He transformed his body, got into the playbook. It's a little bit different, going from a perimeter guy to now being in the box and not only learning the left tackle, but you got to know right tackle, right, to give us flexibility. So just really, really proud of his investment. He invested in the group. You kind of wonder, like, okay, here's a guy that's a skill guy. Now he's going into the offensive line room, because each different position has a different temperament, and he fit right in with the guys. He's really embraced it, and just super proud of the production that he's been able to have, in the absence of Boley.
And what is the status of Boley and Cam Robinson, Corey Thomas?
Yeah, so Corey's back full practice today. Cam's a little bit limited. We believe that we got positive returns on all of the scans and everything. Now it's just more of getting to a point to being able to deal with the pain tolerance from that standpoint. So hopeful for this week. He's out there moving around, involved in pretty much everything today, but still a little bit limited. And then Boley is day to day. So he's out. Moving around, so we're hopeful that we'll get him back here pretty soon.
Is it
Is it hard or harder to stay committed to the run when you're playing from behind and also when you're having success in the passing game?
I think the first part probably a little bit harder to force yourself to run the ball. Especially when you're in a possession to possession game, and then like I told the guys at halftime, man, we're chasing a possession, because we lost a possession on the turnover, and so you want to be balanced, you want to be effective. But it's more so, in the passing game, depends upon kind of what passing game, you're using. If you're relying on your play action, then you got to stay committed to the run. If you're working drop back, right, you want to use the quick game, the screens, and all of that just to kind of supplement your run game, right? So there's ways that you can generate similar outputs with the screen and the quick game. But more so when you're chasing points, chasing possessions, it's a little bit more difficult, especially if you're not having success. And we weren't having a ton of success, or when we did, right, then we had a self-inflicted wound. Like we get a good positive run, then we have a false start, or we have a penalty that's hard to overcome.
Coach, you mentioned Terrell and Malachi's success on the outside, the improvement for the tight end room. How do you expect that to help Chris Tyree, and how do you expect to continue to get him more involved?
Yeah, so I think it was good to see the ball in his hands, and I think that's just going to boost his confidence. And then as you continue, and again, a lot of what we have is built to go through that F position of ours that Chris is playing. Obviously, as he continues to become more comfortable with the system, you'll see a lot more touches for him. But also, too, you got to go take what the defense gives you, right? So what I don't want is I don't want AC to start pressing, right? And so far he's done a really good job of whatever his progressions are, whether it's a yes/no pre-snap or whether he's going triangle reads or progression. He's been doing a really good job there. And so Chris is going to get going. He's practiced well the last week and today, and so I anticipate that you'll see more involvement with him. But what I don't want is it to just be forced, right? Because then you're going to miss opportunities. And what we need to do is we need to focus on taking what the defense gives us, staying ahead of the chains, right? Playing efficient, clean football. And the big challenge for us offensively is, we've been explosive, right? But we got to be more efficient. Third down, we haven't been, as good as we need to be third down. So we got to be more efficient on third down. Now, I'm really proud of the long drive, there late in the game. But we can't just rely on the explosives, right? There's going to be times where we're going to have to put our hand in the dirt, and we're going to have to go manufacture drives, right? Play complementary football.
Let's go Chris then, Greg.
Coach, you mentioned the defensive ends got close a couple of times. Do you see Chico Bennett kind of gaining some confidence now that he's back in live games again and feeling better?
I do, and definitely starting to see his confidence grow, and he's starting to trust, the additional, techniques that Coach Slade, Coach Rudd, and Mike Moore are challenging him on, every single day. And I think as he starts to get closer to that quarterback, that confidence continue to grow, and Cam Butler as well. He's a little bit banged up right now. So he's, I think, as he continues to get his body back up under him, I think you'll see more production there. Terrell Jones is one that I've really been pushing because I think he's got a ton of ability, right? He was playing on the inside, then we moved him to the outside, but I think he's got the size and the ability. Really want to see him get going, and then Smiley as well. So I think as we can develop a good rotation with those guys, keep those guys fresh, I think you'll see more production out of them as a group.
Now, to follow up on the running game, down near the goal line early against Wake, Kobe was visibly upset. We could see it from the press box. Are you okay when a player is showing that much frustration? And what's your message to him? I'm sure he wanted the ball in that spot.
That's right. Long as it's respectful and controllable, I don't mind a guy, being emotional and letting, coaches and his teammates know he wants the ball, right? Now, he got the ball, and so he knows, because he played for me as a freshman. He knows that, hey, we get down there, they got us outnumbered with hats. So you may only get one touch, and then when you run the quarterback, you pick up an extra hat, right? And so he had an opportunity to touch it. My expectation is from the 3-yard line that when you give it to a back, he's got to get in the end zone, and that's anybody, from Kobe to Jack to X-Man, and anytime for those backs, they know that my expectation is it doesn't matter how they block it. You give me the ball, I got 4 yards. Right, and then AC is a growing moment for him. We're running a scheme down there that he's getting used to, and he's a little bit too fast, right? With a little bit more patience, on his run, we walk in for a score. So, happy that we were able to overcome it, all right, and it didn't end up costing us. But it's a great opportunity for us to teach, all the way around, because there's a certain mentality. When you get down there. And then the flip side, I was proud of the defense. They got down to the 5-yard line, and they did the same thing. They held for a field goal.
Trey McDonald coming in and playing for Cam. What have you seen from his development, and how good do you feel with him in the game right now?
Yeah, so during fall camp, with James being down, coming off of surgery, man, he got a ton of reps, and I saw him get better. I don't think there's a more fierce competitor on our team than Trey McDonald. He's extremely physical. He's very, very smart, and now he's really starting to be able to come into his own because he's getting the physical reps. And so, man, I'm excited about his opportunity. If Cam's not able to play, he came in, finished the game, got a sack, was productive. So I feel good. I'm confident in him. And we got to also get Dorian Jones going. It's another guy that I think physically can help us. It's just a function of getting him up to speed to be able to make all the calls, adjustments, and everything you got to do at Mike Backer. And then Landon Danley would be the next one that I'm excited to see should his number be called, because he's been practicing well. He's shown a lot of progress and improvement. But I think that Trey McDonald is the next one in line, ready to go fill a void if Cam's down.
Just a quick detail on that. Is Trey the next guy at either linebacker position?
Yeah, he would be the third guy that we would put in the game when you saw that. And then we got some flexibility too with James. You can move James over to the Mike spot if you need to. You can put Trey in there at will, and then same thing with Dorian, trying to cross train those guys, because you got to be flexible with those two.
And what is Cam's injury?
It's just right now it looks like it might be a sprain, so just got to let it calm down. We were obviously all the checks and scans worked out good. A little bit scary there anytime a guy goes down with a knee, but it seems like it's really positive, and it's more so just a pain tolerance, type deal.
Maryland has been gone from the ACC for a while now. When you watch them on film, do they look like a stereotypical Big Ten team? I mean, has their identity changed over the years?
It's I don't know what a stereotypical Big Ten team looks like. I just know they're a good football team. They're very well coached. They're fast on offense, and the quarterback looks very, very comfortable in the system. And so they play really, really good football. And when I think about the coordinators that they have, they got ties to outside the Big Ten, so to speak. And so offensively, you're going to see it's not a power eye type of offense. They're going to be in the gun. They're going to have some unbalanced. They're going to shift in motion. Everything that you see that we do in this league. And the difference I would say for them is they're really, really stout and big on the D line, right? A little bit heavier than what we played last week, And Wake's, made a living on, undersized guys that are very disruptive with slant and angle and movement. This is going to be a true, 3-4, heavy 300-pounders, just big, 4-eye, 5 techniques that you're going to have to double to move. So that would probably be the only thing that I would say would but I think back to my times playing Bama. Bama was the same way, right? In the SEC, it was just the big, thick bodies on that D line. But they're a very good football team, very well coached. Kids look like they're having fun, and they're playing hard.
Coach, Ugana's played, I think, roughly a third of the snaps at right guard.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him in rotating in with Ty as you continue to try to develop depth?
Yeah,
on the line?
so Ugana is a guy that I think he looks the way you want him to look. Man, he's explosive. He's athletic. Seen improvement with his discipline with his hands. You know, there was a time where he was playing very wide with his hands, but I'm seeing a lot more discipline there. Man, he's a high energy. He exerts himself a lot too. So it's been good to split snaps. You know, so he stays a little bit fresher, and he gives us some flexibility. If we need him to kick out to right tackle, he could possibly do that too. So really, you know, trying to keep those guys fresh and build experience too, you know, as we go, because we want to have multiple offensive linemen in case you have injury. You got guys that have experience that can go play. But I'm pleased with just the things we've challenged them with, right? Footwork, hand placement, you know, pad level. You know, you're seeing improvement there.
Hey, Coach, 3 straight night games to open up the
Yeah.
season. Do you like playing in prime time? And what do you hope to see? What type of atmosphere do you expect to see on Saturday night at Scott Stadium?
Love playing in prime time. That's what you do it for, right? Now, am I going to say that you love the build-up and the wait at the hotel for the kickoff? No, but actually playing in prime time, and that's what you want to do. It's what every team aspires to do, is be able to play in the prime time. And man, I'm excited about the opportunity to come home to Scott Stadium, and the fans, the students showed up. They were awesome last time we were at home, and I really want to challenge the fans. Let's pack the stadium. Here's a rivalry that's being renewed, right? You got a football team and I thank Scott for giving me all the facts and details on this. But you got a football team that's trying to be the 4th team in 25 years to start 3-0, right? And we have a chance to do that right at home in front of our own fans, right? And we're gonna need them, because we got a very, very good football team coming in here that's really confident. You know, they beat us last year, so there's no reason for them to think that they can't do the same, right? They're coming off of a loss, right? They're going to be hungry, right? I think Coach Loxley, being from that area, knows the rivalry. Trying to get our guys to understand, because again, it's been a while since, you know, the rivalry was full blown. But I was reminded today by a former player coming off the practice field of just how fierce this rivalry is to all of the Virginia faithful. So we have a great opportunity, right, to help this football team, right, with the energy and the passion, because man, that's what it's about. And there's no better way than to be playing in front of your home crowd with a packed stadium, and why not? Like why not, right? And this is University of Virginia, right? Like, we take pride in everything that we do. So man, let's pack the stadium. Let's have an unbelievable. We get to showcase who we are, what we're about on a national stage, right, for the entire country to see. I mean, this is big time, right? This is where we all wanted to be. Now we have to all do our part. Like, we have to prepare well to come out and play well, but we're going to need the fans, right? They're supporting us, doing their part, creating an unbelievable environment. And man, I'm excited about the opportunity that we all have, fans, players, administration, university, with this game Saturday.
Who was that former player?
It was a Tim Conway. Tim Conway, he actually works with our Cavalier Circle program, the mentoring program. Has been instrumental in getting former players back engaged and involved. But he stopped me on the way out and let me know that. And I've gotten messages from other folks too about what this rivalry means.
Would you like to see, when this contract's done, this game back on the schedule more and more? Or I know that's.
It makes sense to me. Like, it makes sense, because we're recruiting against each other. We're battling for the same players. Man, they're not far away. It's convenient for either fan base to travel to the game. I'm all for it if it works out.
Late in the first half against Wake, you guys, I think 8 seconds left, you punted, the punt got blocked. What do you got to clean up there? And I guess, was there any thought of just throwing a Hail Mary to Malachi to see if you could run out the clock?
So great question, and you always have 20/20 in hindsight. Okay, so there's a play that we work where you roll out and you just throw it up out of bounds as high as you can. That's typically an end of game situation, right? But 8 seconds is stretching it, right? So you roughly can get about 6 seconds off the clock, with that play. So then with that, it's an incomplete pass and the ball spotted right there with them to have a chance to have a Hail Mary. And then if you throw the Hail Mary and it's incomplete, then they get the ball, probably with 2 seconds left on the clock. So the thought process was just get the punt off. And And, you know, the way it's designed is we can't block them all. The operation time has to. And so where we did not do a good job as coaches is really stress the point of, hey, let's one-step punt this and get it off, right? We were kind of in the moment just making sure we had everybody up there. We could have done a better job of just really stressing how quickly we got to get the punt off. And very similar to the last punt of the game, right? So it was kind of the same situation. We corrected it, we got the ball off, and it ended up being a big play. So the thought process there was, and as we talked about it as a staff, you know, roughly 6 seconds is what you think you can get off then. If you hand it off and run, you're probably going to leave 2 seconds. And if you pop a big one, then you might can run out the 8 seconds. But either way, you're going to turn the ball right over there in position for them to take a shot at the end zone. So the thought process was, let's try and get it off, but we didn't do a great job coaching-wise of really stressing and emphasizing. And the breakdown, you know, wasn't necessarily a breakdown in the protection guys up front. It was more, man, we had to get that ball off knowing that they were coming.